In the heart of the ancient forest, where the shadows whispered secrets and the trees bore witness to centuries of history, an eerie stillness prevailed. The cursed grove, once home to the coven of the Ebon Night, had been a place of redemption and renewal. But now, a new darkness loomed, threatening to undo the balance they had fought so hard to achieve. The original coven, now a distant memory, had redeemed themselves and become protectors of the forest. But whispers of their past had carried through the winds, and a new generation of witches, drawn by the allure of the old power, had gathered on the outskirts of the forest. They yearned to reclaim the forbidden knowledge and revive the ancient coven. Among the new generation was a young witch named Serena. Her obsession with the tales of the Ebon Night had led her to study forbidden texts and delve into dark magic. Serena, with her deep-set ambition, had discovered a ritual that could potentially awaken the spirits of the old coven. One moonless night, Serena and her followers, cloaked in shadows, gathered within the forest. They stood at the edge of the cursed grove, the same stone circle where the original coven had sealed the malevolent entity. Serena held an ancient grimoire, her trembling hands tracing the sigils as she chanted the incantations that beckoned the dark forces. As her words reached a fevered pitch, the ground trembled, and the very trees seemed to wail in agony. An unnatural darkness began to gather, coalescing at the center of the stone circle. The spirits of the original coven, long at peace, felt the intrusion and stirred in restless slumber. Among the original coven, Morina sensed the disturbance. Her once-aged form had found new vitality and wisdom, and she could not allow the malevolent forces to be resurrected. She summoned the spirits of her comrades from their eternal rest and called upon Leela, her protégée, to aid her in preventing the dark ritual. Together, they entered the grove, their presence a beacon of light amidst the encroaching darkness. The forest had grown uneasy, and its spirits whispered of the return of forbidden powers. They guided Morina and Leela to the heart of the ritual, where Serena continued to recite the incantations. Morina stepped forward, her voice cutting through the incantations like a blade. "Stop this madness, child. You know not the horrors you seek to unleash." Serena turned to face Morina, her eyes gleaming with a sinister fervor. "We are the new generation, and we will harness the power of the Ebon Night to become unstoppable. The spirits of your coven shall serve us now." A tense standoff ensued, with Serena's followers poised to attack. But Leela, who had grown into a powerful guardian, channeled the spirits of the forest, summoning an army of spectral creatures to stand against the intruders. The apparitions appeared like shadowy sentinels, their glowing eyes and ethereal forms forming an impenetrable barrier. The forest itself seemed to come alive, roots and vines snaking up from the ground to ensnare Serena's followers. The spirits of the original coven, long at peace, emerged as shimmering specters to confront the intruders. Their once-forgotten voices united in a haunting chorus, their faces veiled in a sorrowful wrath. Serena's confidence wavered as she realized the immense power arrayed against her. Desperation and fear crept into her eyes. She tried to complete the incantation, but her voice faltered. Morina, her voice steeped in ancient wisdom, spoke to Serena one last time. "You have a choice, child. You can follow the path we once did, a path of darkness, destruction, and eternal suffering. Or you can choose the path of redemption, as we did, to protect the world from the malevolent forces we once unleashed." Serena's eyes met Morina's, and for a brief moment, a flicker of doubt passed through her. Then, with a shudder, she relinquished the grimoire, allowing it to fall to the forest floor. The forest's spirits and the specters of the original coven began to recede. Serena's followers, their power broken and their ambition shattered, fled into the darkness, leaving behind the cursed grove and the ancient power they had so desperately sought. The grove, once more bathed in the gentle glow of the moonlight, whispered its gratitude to Morina and Leela. The spirits of the original coven returned to their peaceful slumber, knowing that their legacy would live on as protectors of the forest. As dawn broke, Morina and Leela stood side by side, the weight of their history and the echoes of the past held in their hearts. The ancient forest had been preserved once again, and the balance they had fought so hard to achieve remained intact. The tale of the Coven of the Ebon Night had come full circle, a reminder that redemption and the enduring strength of the human spirit could overcome even the darkest of ambitions. Years had passed since the attempted resurrection of the Ebon Night Coven. The forest, once again thriving in its renewed balance, had flourished under the watchful eyes of Morna and Leela. The ancient grove had remained untouched by the ambitions of those seeking forbidden power, and the memory of the thwarted ritual had faded into the annals of history. However, the forces of darkness, though temporarily defeated, were not easily vanquished. A sinister presence had been silently biding its time, plotting its return. This malevolent entity had observed the forest's protectors and devised a new plan to regain its foothold in the realm of the living. Among those who had been thwarted by Morna and Leela that fateful night was a witch named Delphine, who had narrowly escaped capture. She had harbored a deep-seated hatred for the protectors of the forest and had spent years honing her dark powers in secret. Delphine's thirst for revenge had grown insatiable, and she believed that she had finally unlocked a path to resurrect the malevolent entity, one that could bypass the watchful guardians. Using her newfound knowledge, Delphine ventured into the forest alone, reaching the edge of the grove under the shroud of night. She carried with her an amulet infused with dark magic, believed to have the ability to awaken the malevolent entity without the need for an elaborate ritual. Delphine's heart burned with vengeance as she whispered the incantations that would break the entity's dormant slumber. A sinister gust of wind swept through the grove, and the air grew heavy with the presence of malevolence. The very ground seemed to pulse with dark energy, signaling the awakening of the ancient entity. It emerged from the shadows, its form twisted and grotesque, its eyes glowing with a malicious hunger. The malevolent entity, having been dormant for so long, eagerly accepted Delphine as its new vessel. It knew that her hatred and ambition made her the perfect conduit for its return. Delphine felt the entity's malevolence flow through her, her body contorting as the darkness consumed her. News of the grove's disturbance reached Morna and Leela, who sensed the resurgence of malevolent forces. They rushed to confront the threat, deep concern etched on their faces. As they entered the grove, they found Delphine, her form twisted and monstrous, wielding a power she had not possessed before. "Delphine, you have made a grave mistake," Morna warned, her voice heavy with sorrow. "The entity you have awakened is not to be trifled with. It will consume you entirely." But Delphine, under the entity's control, only laughed maniacally, a cruel smile playing on her lips. She raised her hand, sending a wave of dark energy toward Morna and Leela, who defended themselves with all the power they could muster. The forest itself responded, aiding in their battle against the malevolent entity. As the battle raged on, Delphine's form began to deteriorate, the darkness taking a physical toll on her. Morna and Leela fought with all the strength they had, their connection to the forest lending them resilience and power. With a final, desperate strike, they managed to break the entity's grip on Delphine. The entity, weakened and defeated, was forced back into the netherworld, its presence vanishing from the grove. Delphine, however, had paid a heavy price for her ambition. She was left scarred, her powers greatly diminished, and a sense of emptiness and despair washed over her. The grove, having once again been protected from the forces of darkness, returned to its serene state. Morna and Leela stood before Delphine, who was now a broken and remorseful figure. Her desire for revenge had brought her to the brink of destruction, and she had lost not only her power but a part of herself. Morna spoke gently, "Darkness can consume even the strongest hearts, Delphine. But it is never too late to seek redemption and make amends for the wrongs you have done. We once walked a similar path, and now, we protect the forest as guardians of its balance." Delphine, with tears in her eyes, realized the truth of Morna's words. She had witnessed the strength of Morna and Leela's connection with the forest, and the enduring power of their redemption. She made a solemn vow to turn her back on the path of darkness, to seek her own redemption, and to aid in protecting the ancient grove she had once sought to corrupt. The Coven of the Ebon Night trilogy had entered a new chapter, one that explored the complexities of redemption, the enduring battle between light and darkness, and the unwavering hope that even the darkest souls could find their way back to the light. The ancient grove, bathed in the dappled moonlight of a clear night, had witnessed another chapter in the ongoing saga of the Coven of the Ebon Night. Delphine, once consumed by hatred and dark ambition, had embarked on a path of redemption, guided by the lessons she had learned through her own recklessness. As the days turned into weeks and the seasons cycled through their familiar patterns, Delphine proved her commitment to protecting the forest. She worked alongside Morina and Leela, helping to maintain the delicate balance they had fought so hard to restore. Her presence in the coven, a symbol of transformation and hope, was a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. However, there were still lingering whispers of the malevolent entity, a constant reminder of the dark forces that could not be completely eradicated. Morina and Leela knew that the entity would forever seek a path back into the realm of the living, and their duty as protectors was far from over. One evening, as they gathered in the grove, the ancient trees seemed to speak of a looming darkness on the horizon. They whispered of an ominous prophecy, one that foretold the entity's return in a new, more formidable form. It was a chilling revelation, one that weighed heavily on the coven's hearts. Morina turned to Delphine, her expression grave. "We must prepare, for the malevolent entity is not defeated, merely weakened. It seeks to find a way back into our world, and when it does, it will be more powerful than ever." Delphine, her eyes resolute, nodded in agreement. "We have faced darkness before and emerged victorious. We shall do so again. Our legacy is one of hope and transformation, and we shall not allow the shadows to reclaim the grove." The Coven of Three stood united, determined to protect the ancient forest from the impending threat. The spirits of the original coven, once at peace, would once again stir to action, ready to confront the malevolent entity. As the first signs of the entity's return began to manifest in the forest, a new chapter in the tale of the Coven of the Ebon Night unfolded. The fate of the ancient grove, and the balance of the natural world, hung in the balance, awaiting the outcome of a battle between light and darkness that would define the legacy of the Coven. The forest, ancient and wise, had borne witness to countless stories of redemption and transformation. It stood as a testament to the enduring power of hope and the strength of the human spirit. And as the shadows lengthened and the malevolent entity loomed on the horizon, the ancient grove whispered the promise of another tale yet to be told, one that would keep the legacy of the Coven of the Ebon Night alive and offer hope in the face of darkness.